My abusive ex would put food I was allergic to in my food, so when I finally left him, he started stalking me everywhere I went, and my friend dared to say I should just be normal and stop letting my damage take over my life. Posted by /ThatLastBiUnicorn. I have an ex, Michael, and he basically would make me sick, literally, to get back at me whenever he got upset with me. He was abusive, I can see and say that now. It was a horrible time, honestly, and I can't hate him enough. About a year ago he was nonstop stalking me. I had to harass the police, turn on my phone camera to record coming and going everywhere. I had friends on alert top, my head was on a swivel. We put together hours of footage and I found a lawyer willing to take my case, and it was with his help that I finally got a restraining order. I moved in with some girls I knew through friends who needed a roommate and sold almost everything I owned to afford the move so quickly. Now he isn't allowed to be near me, but I still find myself feeling cagey in public. I've started going out with my roommates and friends more, and I'm just a hard person to meet up with at the bar. I only eat food made by people that I trust or from restaurants. If I don't trust you, I'm not eating it. I might pretend to nibble, but I won't actually eat it. I carry granola bars and pistachios in my bag just in case. It makes me feel isolated and sad, but I can have panic attacks trying to push too far out of my comfort zone. I feel like the wet blanket of my friend group and feel bad every time I decline an invite. Well, that happened, and we all went to a friend's for dinner. It was potluck, so I made a couple dishes I could eat, and I knew I could eat the food my 3 roommates made because I do trust them. I didn't eat anything outside this. This isn't new to most people, but it did become a topic of conversation when Tammy started to make comments. I tried to change the subject, as did my roommates and other friends, but she flat out asked, "What's your damage anyway?" and laughed. I started to tear up and she waved it off like, "Oh, don't be sensitive, I'm just joking," or whatever, so I just broke down crying. She sort of panicked and said, "Oh damn, are you seriously crying? Girl. Okay." And I got so angry. So I told her that I have an ex who fed me food I was allergic to and would put stuff in my food as a form of control, that I'm in therapy but have deep PTSD, that it's hard for me to go out to dinners, and this was one of the first times I tried because it's potluck and I knew I could hang out for the New Year's celebration, that my roommates and I were excited because I can try to do something normal after the abuse I suffered, and that now, I feel like I should just leave. Tammy got really quiet and just got up to another room. My roommates managed to mostly distract me and we did have some fun. We did the countdown and I even had a few drinks and loosened up a bit. I thought that was it, but Tammy apologized via text. She then requested that she tell everyone that she apologized and that we're good now so she can stop being iced out of the groups. I asked my roommates and they shared that after Tammy left the room, most of the people there outside her husband were cold to her and avoided her. She felt so out of place they left before the countdown. And now a bunch of the friend groups there stopped inviting her out or have outright canceled plans with her. Tammy was practically begging me to tell everyone that we're all good now, and I won't be doing that. She did apologize and I accept that apology, but I won't lie and say we're good. I dealt with a lot of isolation after I left my home church and went agnostic, so I know how hurtful and damaging it can be, but I can't lie and say we're good. Even if she was drunk, what she did and said deeply hurt me and made me not want to try and go out again after almost a year of therapy to get me past this. I work from home and go to the same 3 bars and almost exclusively with a trusted friend, and that's it. That's the extent of me going out. I have a vision board where I can work myself up to taking a vacation out of town by this time next year, and I feel like that party was a step forward, but she put me 3 steps back. So hell, it might be mean, but screw her. It's not my fault or problem. People saw an issue in the way she treated me. Oh, and her excuses were that she was drunk and she's been upset since when we met 6 months ago at the housewarming and I didn't eat her food. She said she tried to find out foods I like, but I didn't eat that at the next gathering, and so on and so on, and for some goddamn reason it became her life mission to have me eat her food. Why? Because I've cooked since he was a child and everyone loves her food. She caters for events. So how dare I not eat her food? Call me bitter, I don't care. Maybe she'll learn next time to mind her business. I'm not too worried. I did tell my friends I feel bad she's being iced out, but not enough to lie. Which is partially true. I feel for her a bit, but just a bit. I hope she's having the day she deserves. Edit. Someone asked me for the text she sent for context. Here it is below. Here's the copy and paste. Hey. I just wanted to reach out because I've been thinking about the other night and I feel like things got way blown out of proportion. I was obviously drunk and joking, and I didn't mean anything by it at all. I hope you're good. If anything I said upset you, That really wasn't my intention. I honestly didn't know you were still so sensitive about stuff like that, and if I had known you were going to take it like that, I wouldn't have joked around like that. Lol girl, those margaritas were strong. Her husband said I had like 6 by that point. Holy right? Lamau. I mean, you know I like to cook. I used to cook the fam growing up, and her husband and I met at friends' house. It's just that I cook for everyone. It's my love language. I know you get it because you cook all the time. I try to find out what you like and you won't even eat that. It's just that it's my contribution and you seem to eat everyone else's food, and I guess it's my bad to take that personal, but you know? Anyway, you're probably asleep. Sorry to bother you. I just feel really bad because people are acting super weird with me now, and I'm basically being sort of shouldered by everyone, which feels unfair, but I know you get JT. I've always tried to be welcoming and inclusive, so this whole situation is really hurtful for me. And this is really getting to her husband, and y'all are close, so I don't want this to blow up any more than it needs to, right? Can you please just tell everyone that we talked and that we're good now? I don't want this to turn into a whole thing when it doesn't need to be. I feel like clearing that up would really help smooth things over, and we can laugh about it next week at Friends. Anyway, hope you're feeling better today. Let me know. Update. 5 days later. A few people asked for an update, and honestly I wasn't sure there would be one because of these honestly feels so boring, but here we are. I chose to stick with my plan and have no regrets. I did tell her I accepted her apology, but I wasn't going to say we're good because we're not. She's not a safe person for me, and more, her actions have caused me to see her as unsafe. Whatever. All that means is I don't want to hang out with her. I will be cordial when I see her, but we are not friends. No biggie. Not a requirement. Low stakes, right? Well, I was overwhelmed by texts and being asked what happened, so I chose to be neutral and just send the screenshot of her text to me, her apology. That way people could make their own choices, and I feel I was being transparent and not trying to steer the opinions of anyone. This past Monday there was a group gathering. I went because it was the surprise portion of a birthday celebration for a friend, and I didn't want to miss that. I didn't outright promise to be there, but I know it meant a lot to my friend if I could make it. It was at a restaurant, which was the last-minute change that wiped out most of my excuses and made me feel more okay about going. I figured I could stay for a bit, give my gift, and leave if when needed early. I met up with my roomies ahead of time and we spent time together before everyone else arrived, which also was special in and of itself. Tammy was there. She and Wyatt were among the first to arrive. She brought cookies. Most people politely took one. My roommates all declined, which immediately made the vibe weird. I mean, you could visibly see Tammy get upset. When she got to me, she looked at me, said in a snippy tone of course not, and moved on to the next table without waiting for a response. That started up some tension with my roommates, who were clearly annoyed on my behalf, but I asked them to please calm down and not make a scene. This isn't the time or place, and I really don't care enough for all the drama. They did keep calm-ish, but they also stuck close to me the entire party, which I appreciated more than I can say. I managed to stay the majority of the party and got to talk to new and old friends. It was one of the most normal nights I've had in a very long time. When the birthday boy, Jake, opened my gift, part of it included food, a dish he's loved for years and had specifically asked me to make for his birthday. He was genuinely excited and thanked me a bunch, which was sweet. But it was also the moment where Tammy suddenly made this sound. It was almost a gasp sort of sound, and we looked at her and she looked like she was about to cry and rushed to the bathroom. Her husband, Wyatt, followed her, and they left pretty quickly after that. Later that night, in the group chat, Tammy apologized again, but this time it was more about how hard it is for her to feel unappreciated for her cooking and baking because it's her love language and she's not near her family. She talked about how cooking is how she shows love, how she learned from her Omi and grew up with German cuisine and diverse recipes, and how painful it is when that's not received the way she intends. She does this to share joy and connect with people, and since Wyatt is the friend and she's just his +1, is very important to her to connect with all of us, and this makes her feel bad. There was more, but I muted the chat and didn't look at it again until today after work. When I checked about 30 minutes ago, I saw that while she never mentioned me by name, she framed the situation as being shamed for loving people through food and holding our opinions of her food in high regard. A few people responded that it wasn't about her cooking, and someone did bring up what she said to me at the night party. She replied that she already apologized, and then someone else posted a screenshot of her text and explained why it wasn't really an apology. At that point, she tagged me directly and said something like, "Okay then, sorry." I'm sorry, and immediately followed it with how she feels like she's walking on eggshells and needs space, so she won't be accompanying Wyatt to events for a while unless it's a birthday. The next birthday coming up is one of my roommates. My roommate replied snarkily, "That's okay, you don't have to come for that." And a few people reacted to it. I noticed Tammy's icon drop down, so she'd definitely read it. She just hasn't responded. At this point, I'm honestly exhausted. I didn't want a public reckoning or to turn a group chat into a courtroom. I just wanted to exist in a shared space without my boundaries being treated like a suggestion rather than respected space. I'm still keeping my distance and leaning on the people who make me feel safe, like my roomies and Jake. I had my therapy appointment, and I feel good letting this go and just moving past it. I'm less angry and more indifferent. I don't know where this all lands, but I'm trying very hard not to take on responsibility for emotions that aren't mine to manage.